professional mermaid does. What do you think of? What's the first image that comes to your mind when you think about what they do? The first image that I hear a lot of people think about is seeing a beautiful large aquarium with a bunch of tropical fish, and here comes this mermaid performer just gracefully swimming down, interacting with the guests on the other side, doing different tricks and flips, and creating those magical moments for the guests that attend that aquarium or facility or something like that. That is usually the first thing that a lot of people think of when you think of a professional mermaid, and that is actually one category that can actually make you a professional mermaid or that you can look into. I have been in the mermaid community for a while now, and I've heard a lot of people say that there's actually only two ways that you can be categorized or have the title of professional mermaid, and that is being a professional mermaid performer, which is like we described, someone who is swimming in a giant aquarium who's getting commissioned by that facility or company to do those performances, or it's somebody who does mermaid birthday parties. They get invited to a public pool or someone's house or a pool that was rented, and they go there and they do a bunch of little games. They might do face painting or mermaid makeovers and just be there for an entertainment purpose and being able to make a kid's birthday very special and memorable for them. They can also be commissioned by companies to do corporate events or things like that. They can also be part of different companies that do tank swims, that where they travel all over the world, different Renaissance fairs and different things like that where they do those performances in a travel tank. That is another option for the professional mermaid performer field. The other one is actually a professional mermaid instructor. Those are the people that help train or teach people who want to be the performers how to swim in a monofin. They learn different techniques by free divers and scuba divers. There's actually a program that is run by PADI where you can be a PADI mermaid instructor. I've seen a lot of people offer the different classes where they teach you how to be an instructor, so you can teach PADI's certified mermaid course and certify other people under that program, or certify people as a professional mermaid in that field with that PADI certification. Or it's somebody who, for example, I taught learn to swim classes for kids in monofins as well as did adult swim classes for swimming as a mermaid. But I was actually a WSI certified Red Cross trained lifeguard. It was fantastic. I loved teaching people how to do flips, how to like breath control, how to let out your air so that you can stay neutrally buoyant. It's very fun for me. Now, like I said, people only say that there's only two ways to become a professional mermaid. I think there's three. And I'm going to tell you why. Because when you look at a professional mermaid, what are they wearing? They're wearing these beautiful silicone tops. They're wearing this probably beautiful headdress that somebody made. And that creator has probably spent many years making, constructing, designing, figuring out what works and what doesn't to make that crown be able to not only be durable, stay together, but also be something that you can use underwater. Some people make cool like mermaid jewelry that they can wear, or beautiful mermaid tops that they can accessorize with their tail. People have to make that gear. Sometimes they can actually make different things that help a professional mermaid do their performance, such as a weight belt. Now, a lot of professional mermaids, some of them will wear a weight belt so that they're able to be neutrally buoyant underwater and conserve as much oxygen as they can, because if you don't wear a weight belt, you have to blow all the air out of your lungs so that you stay neutrally buoyant. But if you have a weight belt, you don't have to let out as much air, which means you conserve more oxygen. You're able to last a little longer underwater. Plus, that weight belt helps keep you still, but you do have to go through training and different safety precautions when you're wearing a weight belt and know how to remove it if needed for safety concerns. But there is a couple mermaids out there who have made these beautiful weight belts, but they've made like little tiny starfish, or they've made like little shells that have the weights inside them that hook onto this belt, so that it looks a lot more themed than just like this belt with these like square silver weights. So it looks a lot better, and it's a great like tool to use. So sometimes these things that these creators make are actually very helpful for the performer themselves and creates more of a seamless look than having that square right there on the side. And plus it's a lot safer to have the weight belt on the outside than you shoving it inside your tail, because if you need to be able to remove it, you're gonna have to reach on in and pull it out, whereas the weight belt around your waist, you can just clip it off. So a lot of these creators have also come up with ideas to make it more of a safer kind of equipment for these mermaids to use. And that is why I personally think that that third category is the professional mermaid creators and designers, because those creators and designers have to have previously swam in a silicone tail or swam in mermaid tops or understood what materials work and what materials don't. They've had personal experience, and now they created these amazing works of art so that other people can also enjoy those creations too. Now in this video, I'm going to be kind of focusing more on how to become a professional mermaid designer or creator. There's a couple different ways, but I'm going to show you kind of more of what I had to do to become a professional mermaid creator and different aspects that I took to be able to offer my products out in the public and what it took. So to start off, you first have to come up with an idea. Of course, that's where everything starts off, with an idea or something that you want to create. Writing it down, drawing it out, researching the materials you're gonna need is gonna be very helpful, because when you get all those materials, you're gonna have to figure out how much it costs for you to make one of those items. And you need to make sure that you are not undercharging, because if you undercharge, you're not gonna be able to support yourself making a bunch of these products, because then you have all the material costs that you didn't account for. So it is a lot of thinking, it is a lot of math, but it's going to be very helpful for you to first come up with that baseline of how much it's going to cost for me just to make one of these items with all these materials. That also includes the paint brushes, the cups, the different like molds that you're going to have to make or pay for. Those different things do have to be accounted for when you are creating your mermaid product or your product in general. The second thing that you have to do is also test out your product itself. So for example, this is also part of the category of quality control, because if you advertise that this item can be worn underwater and someone buys it and they go underwater and it just dissipates and falls apart, that's bad on you. That's quality control. You should have known what glue to use or what paint to use that's not going to have it fall apart for these performers. So that's why it's very important that you test out your product, you test out different things. If you need to tweak it a little bit before you launch your product as a whole, that's totally fine. And to be honest, the more you make, the better it's going to get over time. For example, if you look at my first top that I made, it was pretty heavy, it was bulky, it really didn't work very well. And that's why I took it off the market, because I felt like myself as a creator and a designer, I could do better. So then later on, I decided to make more tops. I did different designs. I learned different techniques, and it all came with trial and error, to be honest. And then once you understood how things work, everything became a lot easier. I was able to do different designs. I was able to make these tops a lot lighter and more durable in the water. And it just turned out to be a great fun experience, and it's a great hobby too. You tested your product, you have some videos, you have some photos. Now, we live in a time where social media is booming, so definitely take advantage of like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Of course, use all those different platforms to showcase your product. It's a great way to advertise where you don't have to pay for advertising. Unless you want to pay within those platforms, you can pay to boost your post, but just start off just posting. Now, there's also another cool feature on Facebook, is there's all these buy and sell pages for mermaids that are selling products, or they're selling used tails, or they're selling tails that no longer fit. That's also a great way where you can also find some cool, unique items to be able to vamp up your mermaid look as well, but you also can showcase your products to the mermaid community. So now you're at the point where people are interested in your product, they're wondering where they can buy it, where they can get a hold of it, how they can put it in a commission or order if you do customs. There are a couple different options for you. First one that I started using was actually PayPal. I created a business PayPal account. There are some fees that you do have to consider when using PayPal. First off is your transaction fees. So let's say that you're making mermaid tops and you sell them for $250. When you send over a PayPal invoice, the customer is going to receive it and they're going to send it back. you're not gonna get $250 back. You're actually gonna probably get more like $230 or $240 because PayPal is gonna take out a transaction fee from that amount. And then if you want to transfer that amount that you got to your bank, you do have two options. There's one option where they will charge you a % if you want it instantly transferred over to your bank, or there's another one where there's no fee, but you do have to wait maybe between 1 to 3 days to actually have it show up in your bank account. Now, sometimes it can be more beneficial just to pay for the instant transfer, especially if you're doing custom orders and you need to order specific materials, because if you have to wait 1 to 3 days to get that payment to your account, that's 1 to 3 days that you have to wait to order all the materials. Unless you have the materials on hand, then you can just start making that custom order. But most of the time when I make a custom order, the money that I get actually goes towards a portion of that is ordering the top, is ordering the bra base, or ordering the silicone or the pigments or the embellishments such as the pearls. I take that into account when I am using PayPal, or when I did use PayPal. I still do use PayPal for outside of the US orders because it's a lot easier to go through PayPal than my current website. It's not set up yet for international shipping, but I can go more into that later. Because the next thing is, if you want to amp it up and you don't want to use PayPal, there's always third-party outlets such as Etsy. But you do also have to consider that Etsy has its fees. It actually has 3 different fees. It has a listing fee, which is 20 cents. Currently it's 20 cents. It can change if Etsy decides to, or the CEO decides to up it, or whatever, however they do it. There's also a transaction fee, which currently is 6.5% if it is brought from Etsy. So if someone searches up mermaid tops on Etsy and clicks on your listing and buys your listing, Etsy is going to charge you a 6.5% fee on top of like your overall costs and everything. But there is a new feature that is a click and save. So for example, if you have a Facebook page and you copy the click and save, like little website link, and you put it on your Facebook, anyone who clicks on your Facebook page listing and purchases your product through that like travel, it's only going to be a 4% transaction fee versus a 6% transaction fee because you brought the customer to your page from your social media. So Etsy actually has that amazing deal to make it a little lower, but that's only if the customer comes from the click and save website link that you have posted, which you can also find in your Etsy settings and stuff to be able to download or copy that link and post it on different things. So that way it's cheaper. And then the last fee that Etsy has, which is something that I actually had to look at my different payments to be able to see it, but it's actually a processing fee. So anytime that a payment is processed through Etsy, it actually charges the seller the transaction fees for that transaction. So for example, if someone uses a credit card or a card and pays through Etsy itself instead of like PayPal or something else like that, it's actually going to charge the seller a transaction fee because Etsy gets charged that fee, but they charge the seller for it. So not only are you having to pay for the listing fee, but you're also paying for a transaction fee, and then you're paying for that processing fee that occurred from the transaction. So then you also have to account all those fees that Etsy is placing upon you as a seller for using their platform into your product pricing. So that's something that you also have to do a lot of research. I can make another video going over more about it if it's something that you guys are interested in. I'm very interested in statistics and different mathematical stuff. So if it's something you're interested in, let me know in the comments. And then that is one way where you can start off and learn more about statistics and SEOs and all that fun stuff. Now, if you're wanting to be your own person, you don't want to rely on a third party, and you believe that you personally are bringing in a lot of views to your pages and your websites, you can actually just skip shop, or you can skip, I jumped the gun a little bit, but you can skip Etsy and you can actually go into a website platform, which is a first party, which means that you are the sole person of that specific platform. So some platforms that you can use are Shopify and GoDaddy. I personally have used both, and I really wasn't a fan of GoDaddy. I personally would use Shopify, only because Shopify was a lot easier to navigate. They had some amazing, like, great deals for me starting my website. I think I got like a free month or something to see how it would work, and I actually really enjoyed it. They have different apps that you can add on to Shopify, so you can add on different things to add on, like people to allow them to be able to make reviews. You can also hire different like website people to come in and like fix things if needed, because I'm not the best at website design, but I was able to like figure out the basics through watching YouTube and doing some research. Also, Shopify does have like these different starter templates that you can also add on for free. They also have some that you have to pay. I hope all this information gave you kind of an insight and gave you some more ideas about becoming a professional mermaid. If it's something that you want to do, there's 3 different amazing outlets. There's probably more out there that I haven't explored, but I definitely really enjoy being a professional mermaid designer and creator because it's endless. The endless opportunity for creativity. You get to make art, you get to design different things, you get to practice and test out different ideas. Maybe you might make something that's going to be a new technology in the mermaid community that's going to be very helpful to performers or to like mermaids in general or hobbyists or different things like that. It's just limitless. And I hope it's something that you guys consider looking into, and I hope this information is helpful. But anyway, if you have any questions or you want me to make any more videos that are focusing more on specific topics, you can definitely leave any comments below, and I'll try to get back to them as soon as possible or as soon as I can whenever I come on. But enjoy the rest of your guys' day, and thank you guys so much for watching this video.